Hey, sixth grade, welcome to today's tutorial. And we're moving on to 4.1 today, first section in lesson, or in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is areas of polygons. Areas of polygons. Okay, a polygon is just a many-sided shape. Poly means many, and gon refers to shape. So the areas of many-sided shapes for the whole chapter, we'll be discussing that. And more specifically, in the first section,
Mr.
excuse the
Danziger,
interruption
please
here.
come to the office. Mr. Danziger, to the office.
One of the downsides to recording during school is you'll get announcements. So there you go. Moving on to section 1, which is titled areas then of parallelograms. Areas of parallelograms. Okay. Parallelogram is a type of polygon, and it has a couple parallel sides. So you notice in this shape here, this side is parallel to this side, and the top is parallel to the bottom. That's where it gets its name. Okay. And for our learning target, I can find areas of parallelograms. Okay. And just kind of discussing about what area actually is. Okay. When we're talking about area, we're really talking about the amount of surface it covers. So let's just write that little note for ourselves. The surface it covers, the, the amount of that. Okay. So one place that you'll see area talked about quite a bit, maybe when you get out of school, is a lot of times if you buy a house, or when you buy a house probably, you'll be looking at square footage. So in other words, how big is that house? And um, I would say, a lot of times like apartments are close to 800 to 1,000 square feet. And what that means is livable floor space. So, you'd have your different rooms partitioned off. Maybe here's a couple rooms and a bathroom and a kitchen and a living room or whatever. It talks about how much surface does that cover. So, in your average house, I'd say it's anywhere close to 2,000 square feet. Okay. Helpful to know how much you're paying for a house, how much per square foot. Um, and that's just one example I can think of. So let's take a look at our key idea and how we actually find the area of a parallelogram. Okay, for words, it says the area A of a parallelogram is the product, so I'm thinking multiply, of its base and its height. So I just need to take base and height and multiply them together. Okay, in this case, here's my base, it's labeled, and here is my height. One really important key that you need to know is that your height, it always creates this 90-degree angle with your base. And it comes from the opposite side all the way straight down to create this 90-degree angle, or this L right here. It is not this side length. Okay, it is not that side length. That doesn't create a 90-degree angle. If you go from top to bottom here, you can get this nice L, that 90-degree angle. Okay, because sometimes they'll be turned, like in this case, it looks like it's turned sideways. So you really just need to know that your height is 90 degrees perpendicular to the base. Okay, let's write our formula here. A equals base times height, or again, you could just write that as A equals BH, because when they're next to each other like that, that implies multiplication. Okay, so really that's all we need to do is take the base times the height to find the area. So here I have a base of 12. So 12 times my height is 14. Okay, 8 and 4. Placeholder 2 and 1. Add them together and get 168. And my label would be meters squared because I took this meter times that meter, and m times m simplifies to m squared. That's where this comes from. So 168 meters squared for my area of that blue parallelogram. Similar to the next one, now it's just turned. Okay, so this is technically my base, and I need to multiply that by my height. Here's the 90-degree angle that's formed. So I take 8.5 times 4. Well, if you remember how to multiply fractions here, we can make this into an improper fraction. So 8 times 2 would be 16, plus 1 is 17 halves, times 4 over 1. And I could simplify. So divide each of these by 2, I'd get 1 and 2. And then multiply across. Well, I just have 1 on the bottom, and 17 times 2 on top will give me 34. 34 over 1 is 34, and my label will be feet squared, again, because I'm taking feet times feet. Okay. Go ahead and pause the video and try 1, 2, and 3 on your own. All right, hopefully you've had a chance to try those, and you should have come up with 500 meters squared, 126 inches squared, and 615 yards squared. Let me know if you have more questions on those. The next example is where it comes from a grid, okay, and it doesn't tell you how long they are. Instead, what you need to do is you need to be able to count those and see. All right, well, I usually like to start with the base. Looks like I have 1, 2 for my base. And how tall is this? Well, I need to go from one side, from one base to the other. And it needs to be straight down. Remember, I can't be this slant height. It needs to be create a 90-degree angle. So if I were to come straight down here, here would be my 90-degree angle. Okay, so my height, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units tall. So I just take my base 2 times my height 5 to get a total of 10. And since it doesn't have a label, I would just write units squared. Anytime you don't have a label, you can call it units. Same thing for the next one. My base is 1, 2, 3, 4. And my height from this base to this base, well, I just need to make a 90-degree angle and make sure it comes down to make this L. Okay, here's my 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 and 4. Base times height, 4 times 3 would give me a total of 12. Okay. So that's what, and then don't forget units squared. All right. Take a second and try this on your own. Okay, hopefully you've noticed for the on your own that it looks to be the same exact problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It is the same problem. It'd be 12 units squared. Must have been an oopsie. All right, on to the real life example and the last problem that we've got for today. You make a photo prop for school. You cut a 10-inch square out of a parallelogram shaped piece of wood. What is the area of the photo prop? So you see that this area here is cut out. So if that's not there, we wouldn't count that as part of this area. So we'd actually have to take this amount and subtract it from our total amount that we find. We'll do that in the next section. Okay, so like I was saying, we're going to find the area of the photo prop. So area of photo prop. And we're going to subtract the area of the square because that part is cut out. So we don't need, we want to know the area of just the photo prop. Well, there's nothing here because that got cut out. So we need to subtract that. Okay. Well, area of the photo prop. Okay. Well, that's a parallelogram. So we need to take our base, which is 4, and times it by our height, which is 32. And actually, you know what I see first is that my square is in inches and my photo prop is in feet. Okay. So actually, what I think might be helpful is to convert first. Okay. So let's try that. Let's take our information that we have that's in feet and let's change that or convert that so that it's in inches. Well, there's 12 inches and 1 foot. So I need to take 12 times 8 to come up with a total of 96 inches for height, and also 4 times 12 to come up with a width of, this would be 48 inches. Okay. So my base 48 times 12, let's see, 96 base times height, so 48 times 96 would give me a total of 4,608. And I'd subtract from that the area of the square. Well, it looks like 10 inches is one side. So if this is 10 inches and this is 10 inches, the area would be 10 times 10, which would give me 100 inches. Okay, so if I subtract that, I just need to take 100 away. So 4608 minus 100 would be 4508. And that would be in inches squared. It doesn't tell us to be in a specific measurement, so inches are okay then. All right, pause the video and try the last one for the on your own. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to do that, and let's see what you came up with. We'll have to take, it wants the shaded region, so again we should take all of it and subtract this region because this looks like it's cut out. Okay, well, base times height for a rectangle area, 3 times 1 is 3, so we'll have to subtract 3 from our total. Well, my base is 7 and my height is 5, so 7 times 5 would give me 35, and then subtract 3, that would give me 32, and my label would be feet squared. Okay. Let me know if you have more questions on this section, guys. Again, area equals base times height is the most important thing you need to know for areas of parallelograms. We will see you next time.